Let us pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and legislative assemblies for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with abundant favor as your servants whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important trust in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Good morning, honorable members. Mr. Clerk, proceed.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Proceed.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Proceed.
Order number 3, messages.
Proceed.
Order number 4, petitions.
Proceed.
Order number 5, papers.
Honorable members, under this order number, we have one business to be transacted by Honorable Moffat Maida, Chair, Legal. Honorable Moffat.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable Moffat Maida, representing the people of Matungulu West and the Chair, Justice and Legal Affairs Committee. Honorable Speaker, I wish to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Tuesday, the 17th day of August 2021. Report on the Joint Count Assemblies Committee on consideration of the consultative agreement on Southeastern Kenya Economic Bloc, SECEB. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Moffat. Mr. Clerk, proceed.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Honorable members, under this order number, we have one business which is supposed to be transacted by Honorable Moses Mita, Majority Party Whip, and I will request Honorable Peter Joseph Mutiso to go ahead and do that notice of motion on his behalf. Before he comes, I saw him outside. Honorable Peter Joseph Mutiso.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm Peter Joseph Mutiso, a member of MACHAKOS Central Ward. I stand here for Moses Meta, Majority Party Whip, MCA Kangundo Central. Honorable Speaker, that aware that COVID is a major cash crop in Machakos County and forms a key source of income. Further aware that in first word of Kenya Vision 2030, cooperatives will play an important role in addressing the challenges facing the coffee subsector, namely low productivity, inappropriate land use system, poor marketing system, and low value additions. Informed that coffee farming in the count is to a great extent undertaken by small-scale farmers through the cooperative movement, commonly referred to as Farmers Cooperative Societies, FCS, with the rest left to provide planters, EAE, estates aware that Machakos County has approximately 5 million coffee plantation plants with the capacity of producing approximately 12 million kilograms of cherry. Acknowledging that the current average coffee production per coffee plant is 2 kilograms, while with the crop asparagus, the same plant can give the farmer an average of 30 to 40 kilograms. Aware that high cost of farming input, lack of access to cheap and affordable credit facilities to sustain the subsector, some cooperative societies have extended into commercial loans, which have turned out to different offset. Further aware that raw interest charity fund was released by the national government through commercial bank for the benefit coffee farmers. Honorable Speaker, I wish to give notice of motion that the Machakos County government, through the Department of Agriculture, streamline the management of coffee cooperative society for better administration of coffee subsector and undertakes annual audit to each cooperative society to help track operations and financial inflow, outflow, and asset status. 2, assist coffee farmers to access the cherry funds releasing by the national government and allocates enough funds for inputs which should be administered and accounted for by the cooperative society management. 3, offers both managerial and financial support to LECOM Millions Factory to help reduce coffee markets brokerage current witnessed in the coffee cooperative societies. 4, forwards to the Assembly to coffee sector revitalization policy for approval and subsequent authorizations, which will streamline the general management and improvement of the coffee sector. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Peter Joseph Motiso. Mr. Clerk, proceed.
Order number 7, statements.
Honorable members, under this order number, we have one statement on House Business House to be done by the Honorable Alex Kamito, Leader of Minority, on behalf of the Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I'm Alex Kamito, MC Talawad and Leader of Minority in this Honorable House. Honorable Speaker, the House Business Committee met on Monday, 16th August 2021 to prioritize business for the House pursuant to the provisions of the Standing Order number 151 sub 5. The committee reviewed business balloted for Tuesday, 17th August and balloted business for Wednesday, 18th August 2021, Bunge Mashinani at Kangundo Central Ward as follows. 1. Tuesday morning, 17th August 2021 at 10 a.m. A report on procedure and rules committee on amendments to standing orders by Honorable Paul, who is our vice chairperson, and our DS committee on procedure and rules. 2. Tuesday afternoon, 17th August 2021 at 2:30 p.m. A report of Labor, Public Service and ICT Committee on annual report of the County Public Service Board 2020 by Honorable Francis Kideka, Chairperson, Committee on Labor, Public Service and ICT. 3. Wednesday morning, 18th August at 10 a.m. 1. Motion by Honorable Moses Mita, MCA Kangundo Central Ward, that the Machakos County Government, through the Department of Agriculture, A, streamlines the management of coffee cooperative societies for the better administration of coffee subsector and undertakes annual audit to each cooperative society to help track operations and financial inflow, outflow, and asset status. B, assist the coffee farmers to assess the cherry fund released by the national government and allocates enough funds for inputs, which should be administered and accounted for by the cooperative society management. C, offers both managerial and financial support to LECOM milling factory to help reduce coffee market brokerage currently witnessed in the coffee cooperative societies. D, forwards to the Assembly the coffee subsector revitalizations policy for approval and subsequent authorizations which will streamline the general management and improvement of the coffee subsector. D2, statement by Honorable Moffat Maitha, MC Matungulu West, on what the Department of Health and Emergency Services on status dispensaries constructed by CDF. 3, in Roman numbers, motion by Honorable Mark Mwendo, Majority Leader, that pursuant to Standing Order number 25 sub 4, the House resolves to alter the adjournment date from Wednesday 25th August 2021 to Wednesday 18th August 2021 to enable honorable members attend the 7th Devolution Conference in Makueni County and training from 23rd to 29th August 2021, and then proceed on recess as per the calendar of the Assembly, and resume sittings on 21st September 2021 at 10 a.m. as per the Assembly calendar. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Alex Kamitu. Mr. Clerk, proceed.
Order number 8, motion, approval of report of procedure and House Rules Committee on proposed amendments to standing orders.
Honorable members, under this order number, we have one business to be transacted by Honorable Constance Bula. Honorable Constance.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I am Constance Mbulanzioki, nominated by Mandeleo Chapchap. Motion. Honorable Speaker, aware standing orders are written rules under which a legislative house conducts its business. Further, aware that these standing orders regulate the way honorable members behave and how debates are organized, and that they are unique to the legislative body they govern. Informed that the Committee on Procedure and House Rules and has established under Standing Orders number 187 is mandated to propose amendments to standing orders. Cognition that under Standing Order number 226, the Procedure and Rules Committee may at any time propose amendments to these standing orders. Aware that Standing Orders 228 states that at least once in every term of assembly, not later than 6 months to the end of the term, the Procedure and House Rules Committee shall review the standing orders and make a report to the Assembly recommending the standing orders, if any, to be amended. Further, aware that this committee proposed amendments, received other proposals of amendments, considered them, and subsequently compiled a report. Honorable Speaker, I wish to move the motion that this Honorable House discusses and approves the report of the Committee on Procedure and House Rules on proposed amendments to standing orders. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I wish to call Honorable Nyawira to second this motion.
Honorable Jen Nyawira.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm Jen Nyawira, nominated by Mugano Party. I stand to second the motion.
Thank you, Honorable Nyawira. Honorable Constance, you may read the report.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I noticed that the report is quite long, and
there is a summary version of it, if I'm not wrong. Maybe the clerk assistant, can you assist with that?
thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Give me the revised. Honorable members, before you proceed, it's important to note that the report on the standing orders is quite bulky. It's got about almost 52 pages on it. And what we have done is that it has been posted on the wall. You can be able to see it on the website. And what the honorable member is going to do is to read the summary of what the standing orders which are being affected. And anybody wants to have a reference, you can go to the wall, you'll be able to find it there. Go ahead, Honorable Constance.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Parliamentary procedure rules a body of rules, ethics, and customs governing meetings and other operations of clubs, organizations, legislative bodies, and other deliberate assemblies. Standing orders are written rules under which a parliament conducts its business. They regulate the way honorable members behave and how debates are organized in the assembly. Standing orders are unique to the legislative body they govern, and that legislative body is free to amend or repeal any rule and create new ones. 2-0. Mandate of the committee. Honorable Speaker, Procedure and House Rules Committee is established pursuant to Standing Order 187 and is mandated to consider and report on all matters relating to the standing orders. The committee may propose amendments to the standing orders, and any such amendments shall upon approval by the Assembly take effect at the time appointed by the Assembly. 3-0, membership. This committee comprises the following standing honorable members. Honorable Florence Mwangangi, chairperson. 2, Honorable Paul Nyanzi, vice chair. 3, Honorable Paul Museku, member. 4, Honorable Constance Nzioki, member. 5, Honorable Jane Nyawira, member. 3-2, during the preparation and interrogation of the matters in the report, the following honorable members were invited to participate. 1, Honorable Helen Deti. 2, Honorable Geoffrey Kamulu. 3, Honorable Margaret Ndalana. 4, Honorable Alice Zioka. 4, Honorable Speaker, the committee was guided by the following legal framework. A, the principles of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. B, Section 14, 1A and B of the County Governments Act 2012 provides that a county assembly may, I, make standing orders consistent with the Constitution and this act regulating the procedure of the county assembly, including in particular orders for the proper conduct of proceedings. Roman 2, subject to standing orders meant under paragraph A, establish committees in such manner and for such general or special purposes as it considers fit, and regulate the procedure of any committee so established. C, the 2017 version of the Assembly Standing Orders. D, the Powers and Privileges Act 20. And C, the National Assembly latest version of Standing Orders. 4.2. Standing Order number 226 provides that Procedure and House Rules Committee may at any time propose amendments to these standing orders. Further, Standing Order 2271 provides that for amendments to standing orders, a member may, with the support of at least 2 other members, request the Procedure and House Rules Committee to consider amendments to the standing orders. 4.3. Further, Standing Orders 2275, the Assembly shall consider the proposed amendments to the standing orders as reported from the Procedure and House Rules Committee on a motion that the report of the Procedure and House Rules Committee be approved. 5.0. Basis for the proposed amendments. Basis for the proposed amendments. Honorable Speaker, the standing orders that are currently in use were last revised in 2018, and over that time, occasions have risen that have called for another review of the standing orders in order to address emerging issues. In particular, the 2017 standing orders have not addressed certain constitutional requirements. The provision of the Fair Administrative Action Act 2015 as regards the right to fair hearing and amendment to the County Governments Act 2012, which need to be incorporated in the House standing orders. In addition, Standing Order number 228 of the Assembly Standing Orders requires that at least once in every term of the Assembly, and not later than 6 months to the end of the term, the Procedure and Rules reviews the standing orders and makes a report to the Assembly recommending that the standing orders, if any, be amended. Honorable Speaker, for the above reasons, the Committee on Procedure and House Rules undertook to review the current standing orders with a view to recommending appropriate amendments thereto and possible interventions. 6.0. Public participation. Constitutional Petition number 16 of 2018, Machakos High Court. Honorable Speaker, in Machakos High Court, Constitutional Petition number 16 of 2018, the court held that there ought to be a public participation in the process of amending standing orders. Although an appeal was filed in the Court of Appeal, Nairobi, by the Assembly, which is pending hearing and determination, public participation was nevertheless undertaken by the committee by availing the report as the honorable members of the Assembly in draft, and in addition by an advertising in the Daily Nation newspaper of Friday, 23rd July 2021 for written memoranda to the clerk of the Assembly to the public with the closing date of 6th August 2021. The following responses were received. 6.1. Responses from members of the Assembly. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the Article 177 of the Constitution, honorable members are elected to be representatives of their own electorates, and they forwarded the following proposed amendments. Standing Order 163A on ad hoc committee. In suborder 4, at the end of the paragraph, insert the words putting into consideration in the interest of independent members. Standing Order 190A on General Oversight Committee. Insert a new suborder 4 that states that the functions stated under 3 above shall be matters that cut across the committees. 6.2, responses from members of the public. Honorable Speaker, Section 87 of the County Governments Act 2012 provides for citizen participation on 19th July 2021 through a letter reference number, that one long, maybe you can still, 6. The Assembly requested for memoranda from I, the Count Anthony, Suborder 2, the Law Society of Kenya, Lower Eastern Branch, 3, the Young,
Yes.
the Law Society of
Just hang on, honorable member. Yes, honorable Mutinda?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think it's important that that reference is read so that is captured in the hazard, Mr. Speaker.
Go ahead, Honorable Constance Bula. I think read the reference.
Honorable Speaker, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just read again 6.2.
Okay. 6.2, responses from members of the public. Honorable Speaker, Section 87 of the County Government Act 2012 provides for citizens' participation on 19th July 2021 through a letter reference number MKSCA/PC/CMM/PR/Volume 2/6. The Assembly requested for memoranda from I, the County Anthony, 2, the Law Society of Kenya, Lower Eastern Branch, 3, the Young Professionals, MACHAKOS, 4, the National Church Council of Kenya, NCCK, in brackets. Honorable Speaker, by 5 p.m. on 6th August 2021, no single memoranda had been received from 7.0. Methodology and guidelines used to process the proposed amendments. Honorable Speaker, to arrive at the proposed amendments, the committee relied on the following methodology and guidelines. A.
So I think the above there, it is Honorable Speaker, by 5 p.m. on 6 August 2021, no single memorandum had been received from the above institutions. It's hanging there.
Thank
so
you.
it should be from the above. Go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The experience of members of the Assembly and the staff in the use of the 2017 standing orders. B, the National Assembly clerks at the table. Seven, 3.6, Standing Order 68 on roll and division claimed 7.37, Standing Order 72 on decorum during division.
You need to start with the heading. There's a number 7 should be the proposed amendments. Item 7, number 7, subheading 7.
Item 7.
Where you are, exactly where you are.
Here.
Just number 7, 3 and 7. Yes.
7.0.
Yes, I think that's where you are now.
Okay, sorry. 7.0, the proposed amendments. Honorable Speaker, the committee recommends the following standing orders for amendments. 7.1, Standing Order 1, in bracket 2, on cases not provided for. The Speaker may decide. 7.2, Standing Order number 2 on interpretation. 7.3, Standing Order 3 on proceedings and assembly of a new assembly. 7.4, Standing Order number 4 on vacancy in the office of the Speaker. 7.5, Standing Order 5 on nomination of candidates. 7.6, Standing Order number 6 on elections of Speaker. 7.7, Standing Order number 7 on election of threshold. 7.8, Standing Order 13 on notification of opening of the Assembly. 7.9, insert a new Standing Order 13A headed vacancy in the office of the Speaker. 7.10, Part 3 on chairperson of committees and the Speaker's panel. 7.11, Standing Order 14 on chairperson of committees of the whole Assembly. 7.12, Standing Order 15 on leader of majority party. 7.13, Standing Order number 16 on leader of minority party. 7.14, insert a new Standing Order 21A on designation of a place in the chamber for CECMs and other persons that reads as follows. 7.15, Standing Order 22 on presiding in the Assembly. 7.16, Standing Order 23 on location of the first sitting. 7.17, Standing Order 24 on regular sessions of the Assembly. 7.18, Standing Order 25 on Assembly calendar. 7.19, Standing Order 27 on hours of meeting. 7.20, Standing Order 30 on adjournment on definite matter of urgent county importance. 7.21, Standing Order 31 on quorum at commencement of the Assembly. 7.22, Standing Order 32 on quorum during the proceedings of the Assembly. 7.23, Standing Order 4.1 in brackets on members' general statements. 7.24, Standing Order 41 bracket 1 in brackets and 2 in brackets on statement hour. 7.25, Standing Order number 42 on committal to committees approval of public appointments in brackets. Part 7, motions. 7.26.
That is part
Part 8, 7.
12.
12, 10, 12.
12.
Sorry, Part 12, motions. 7.26, Standing Order 43 on applications. 7.27, Standing Order 44 on notices of motion. 7.28, insert a new Standing Order 45A on motions at time for moving motions. 7.29, Standing Order 49 on motions which may be moved without notice. 7.30, Standing Order 54 on question proposed after motion made. 7.31, Standing Order 57 on when amendment is proposed but not made. 7.32, insert a new Standing Order 57A on special motions that reads as follows. 7.33, Standing Order 58 on procedure for removal of the Speaker. 7.34, insert a new Standing Order 60A on procedure for removal of Deputy Governor. 7.35, insert a new Standing Order 67A on rules of voting. 7.36, Standing Order 68 on roll call division claimed. 7.37, Standing Order 72 on decorum during division. 7.38, Standing Order 83 on contents of speeches. 7.39, Standing Order 95, security checks. 7.40, Standing Order number 96 on firearms and other offensive weapons. 7.41, Standing Order number 105 on member suspended to withdraw. 7.42, effect of suspension. 7.43, Standing Order 106 on decorum, on duration of suspension of a member. 7.44, appeal against suspension. 7.45, Standing Order 110 on introduction of bills. 7.46, Standing Order 111 on printing of amending provisions. 7.47, insert a new Standing Order 113A on printing of amending provisions. 7.48, Standing Order 115 on limitation of fundamental rights and freedom. 7.49, insert a new Standing Order 115A on procedure upon publication. 7.50, Standing Order 151 on House Business Committee. 7.51, Standing Order 156 on discharge of a member from committee. 7.52, Standing Order 159 on conduct of election. 7.53, Standing Order 161 on notice of meetings. 7.54, insert a new Standing Order 163A on ad hoc committee. 7.55, Standing Order 169 on list of attendance. 7.56, Standing Order 171 on powers and privileges of committees. 7.57, insert a new Standing Order 180A on exit reports. 7.58, Standing Order 182 on joint sittings of committees of the Assembly. 7.59, Standing Order 18 on committees on appointments. 7.60, Standing Order 187 on Procurement and House Rules Committee. 7.61, Standing Order 188 on Committee on Implementation. 7.26, insert a new Standing Order 190A on General Oversight Committee. 7.63, Standing Order 191 on Liaison Committee. 7.64, Standing Order 206 on presentation of budget estimates and committal to committees. 7.65, insert a new Standing Order 208A on pronouncement of budget highlights and revenue raising measures. 7.66, Standing Order 210 on passage of finance bill. 7.67, insert a new Standing Order 220A on extension of period prescribed. 7.68, insert a new Standing Order 223A on recognition of Assembly caucus. 7.69, insert new XXV 27. Do I say 27 in Roman or in English? Yes. Okay. Insert new part 27 on conduct of proceedings in exceptional circumstances as follows. Part 28, conduct of proceedings in exceptional circumstances. 7.70, insert new Standing Order 229 on application. 7.71, insert a new Standing Order 229B on alternative seating arrangements. 7.72, insert a new Standing Order 229C on other arrangements. 7.73, insert a new Standing Order 229D on use of technology as follows. Second schedule, 7.72. 7.72, insert Committee on Culture. 7.74, sorry. Insert Committee on Culture, Social Welfare and Tourism. 7.74, Committee on Education and Social Services. 7.75, Committee on Environment and Natural Resources. 7.76, insert a new Committee on Lands and Energy. 7.77, Health and Emergency Services Committee. (7.78), Committee on Youth, Women and Sports. 8.0, new schedules to the standing orders. 8.1, insert fourth schedule on form of nomination paper standing order in brackets 159.4 as it doesn't end there, sorry. 8.2, insert a new schedule 5 on form of each form of oath, stroke solemn affirmation by witness appearing before a committee of the Assembly, in brackets, Standing Order 171 as follows. 8.3, insert a new Schedule 6 on summons to witnesses. Excuse me. .4, insert a new schedule 7 on affidavit on service of summon. 9.0, conclusion. Honorable Speaker, the committee wishes to acknowledge the office of the Speaker and that of the clerk for facilitating the committee to amend the standing orders to suit well the operations of the Assembly and in line with the Constitution. Credit also goes to the members of the committee for their participation and in preparation for this report. The committee further acknowledges Mr. Rana Tiabati and Mr. Samo Kalama for their technical support and guidance in proposing and tracking the proposed amendments. Credit also goes to the committee secretariat for their tireless work in tracking the amendments and compiling of the report. It is therefore my pleasant duty and privilege to table before this Honorable House the report on proposed amendments and standing orders for discussion and adoption. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Constance Bula, for that report, well read. Honorable members, I now propose the question that this House discusses and approves the report of the Committee on Procedure and House Rules on proposed amendments to standing orders. Honorable members, you may comment on this motion. Honorable Ellen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I first and foremost wish to congratulate the committee that had to burn midnight oil in preparing such a lengthy report. I personally appreciate the fact that we needed to do a lot of amendments to our standing orders so that the next House can also be able to I'm not going to go to individual amendments, but there is one that has touched me, and especially on education and social service, education and services. I'm very happy that we have differentiated or taken away the social services from the education docket, which I think will go a long way in making clarity in what the education docket is supposed to do. At least the social services docket has been placed where it belongs. I also wish to commend the committee by including the women caucus to be part of the committees of the House. I think we are going to be the first assembly in the Republic to be able to accept reality and have at least the women nominated and elected in this House to be able to sit and come up with issues that can touch on our people of Machakos. So I'm very happy, and I think this will really be an eye-opener. Currently, I've got very many counties that are wanting to come and benchmark with our county, and I think going forward, we should be able to host many of them. I appreciate the committee. I appreciate every member of this county for, being open-minded, being forward-looking, and appreciating that we needed such a committee in the House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Helen. Honorable Thomas Mutinda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. My name is Thomas Mutinda, representing Wamonyo Ward. Mr. Speaker, let me start by thanking the committee, the chair of the committee, and the members for this good work, Mr. Speaker. And let me say that it shows that devolution is growing, that now we are going to the next steps as we continue to amend these standing orders. Mr. Speaker, just the recent past is when we used to say we had teething problems and such, but now we are growing to maturity for devolution. And Mr. Speaker, when you see this issue of women caucus, I would wish to say that in Machakos we can say we lead, others follow. I think we are the first county assembly to have this, and I think others, as the honorable member said, are benchmarking with us. It shows a good gesture that we are open and we do wish everyone to grow. Mr. Speaker, there is this issue of the committees. I've seen, and I would wish to thank the committee for this. The Committee of Environment and Natural Resources was lands and energy was very wide and was trying the much it can, but you would realize that even its reports were delaying to come to this House because of the volume of work it had, Mr. Speaker. But I'm glad that it has been separated, and there's this issue of its division has created the Committee on Lands and Energy and the Environment and Natural Resources. However, Mr. Speaker, I think on 7.76, I would also wish to add that it says that to deal with its mandate is to deal with the county planning and the development, land surveying and mapping, boundaries and fencing. Now, that place, that section alone, I would wish it reads that county fiscal planning, because here we have two planning. There's the fiscal planning and there's the socio-economic planning, which lies in the Committee of Trade. And if we just leave it at that we talk of planning, then it might collide. There's the planning at the lands and energy, and there's the planning at the trade. So I think it should be clarified here that it's fiscal planning, and that is, so that it is separated, Mr. Speaker. So I wish to thank them, and it's a good job, and I wish to support and urge the House to support. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Thomas Mutinda. Honorable Judas Ndawa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for granting this opportunity to also to air my views on the report before the House. Madam Speaker, I want to congratulate the committee for coming up with a elaborate and brief report which touches the hearts of our women in this county. Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker, giving the women caucus an opportunity to have their own setup in the assembly is giving the entire county. Because, as you are aware, Mr. Speaker, if you give a lady some money, to me it applies that you have given the entire family. But if you give a man, the money does not go to the entire family, because the man may not end up, or the money may not reach the home or the homestead of that particular man. But if you give a lady 100 shillings, I'm very sure once she go and buys a kg of sugar, that sugar will be consumed by the lady, the husband, and the kids, and also neighbors. So, Madam Speaker, I want to thank the committee for allowing that. And
Honorable Ndawa and
Mr. Speaker, yes.
The second,
Mr. Speaker.
third time.
Yes. Yes. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the committee for allowing our beautiful ladies in this county assembly to have something that they can be able to control. And that one should be supported by everyone. So I want to thank and support the report. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Justice Katumo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Justice Katumo, the voice. I want to join my colleagues in congratulating this particular committee for this elaborate work they have done. When you look at the work that has been done, the end product, there are so much detail that we need to go through and understand. And I think you took your time to compile this report and into details. And when you look at it, it is my belief there was a lot of work, a lot of time that went into making this report, reviewing the standing orders. And I think your work is very progressive in making sure that our standing orders remain in line with the spirit of our mandate as a county assembly. Let me say that I've looked through and I've seen last assembly, the last amendment that we have done had a lot of interests. But I think this kind of amendment, when I started looking at them, although we went very fast, I think it was to make sure that we are working within the constraints of our work and making sure there are no interests vested on the work that has been done. And I thank the committee, I thank the chair, and I thank the vice chair for the work being done. That has been done and gone into this work. May I say this also, I stand to support what my colleagues has done. I've looked at that second schedule where there is an alteration, a rearrangement of the committees. And may I say, in the spirit of the Sustainable Development Goals motto, which says that we are working. Actually, our development is very progressive. We don't want to leave anyone behind. I can see that this assembly is very inclusive in terms of making sure everyone feels safe, part and parcel of this assembly. The women have been recognized, men have been recognized, PWDs have been recognized, the youth have been recognized, the elderly have been recognized, and I think this is very good because we are working from a point of view of trying to bring everyone on board and that we are touching the hearts of the people. What I've also seen, we have moved this social welfare from all services from education, but it still appears in culture and in youth. In this committee, I think this, the arrangement of the department was very confusing before, because we find a shared mandate or a docket. revolving around 3 departments, and it was very difficult when you are trying to interrogate and summon the chief officers and the ministers, because I found the experience is that when we are trying to get an understanding or interrogate something from the social department, you find that the same is happening in the youth, and there is a lot of duplication. And I think what the committee was doing is to make sure that we don't have duplication, and we don't have confusion going forward. And therefore, I support the work that has been done. I support this report. It's a good one. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Before you sit down, Honorable Justice Katumo, I've seen what you're saying, and the only way that can be adjusted is you move an amendment, because from what the Honorable Member is saying is that we have deleted the words social welfare from the subheading the mandates of the Committee on Education, and we have taken it to the Committee on Youth, Women, Sports, and Social Welfare. So do you want it to remain like that? In that committee? Thank you. Honorable Moffat Maida, then.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm Honorable Moffat Maida, representing the people of Matungulu West. Honorable Speaker, I only want to talk on 2 issues. First is about the exit report. When an assembly ends its sittings, there is some work which remains undone. And it is good for that committee to give that report, exit report, so that any new assembly coming may pursue to the end. That is a very good recommendation which was made by this committee. The other one is about the use of chairs. In fact, you have made it very clear. Instead of saying chair of chairs, let us say deputy speaker, because the chair of chairs is the deputy speaker. And with that wording, it becomes a very important aspect of our life in this assembly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Moffat. Honorable Ikombe, member of Ikombe, Jacqueline Ziva.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable members present. My name is Jacqueline Ziva, representing the people of Ikombe Ward and the Assembly Minority Whip. I wish also to join others in applauding the Procedure and Rules Committee, because they burned their midnight oil in coming up with this elaborate report. And also thank God that they have also recognized Lady Caucus, because behind every successful man is a woman. So I believe also Lady MCS can make, and they will do excellent job. Also thank God that many committees have been split, and of course the mandate of the members will be relieved. Since this has been long overdue, members we are wishing to join even different committees. Some of the members had no even responsibility allowances, and I believe nearly everybody now will be having responsibility allowances. So I urge the selection committee to move with speed, because this report is going to be adopted by members. I believe so, because every member is positive on this. To move with speed so that we can apportion members to different committees and have them do their mandate as quickly as possible. The only issue is on the leader of majority party and also the minority party. I don't know whether, Mr. Speaker, I understood very well, because whenever the assembly majority leader is absent or is unable to perform his or her functions, the deputy assembly majority leader shall perform. I don't know whether we'll be going protocol-wise, because I usually see when the majority leader is not there, maybe the reports and all that, the minority leader takes over. I don't know, maybe someone can explain to me.
Just read for me the amendment which has been made.
Whenever the assembly majority leader is absent or is unable to perform his or her functions, the deputy assembly majority leader shall perform the functions of the office of the assembly majority leader in an acting capacity. Yeah.
There is a difference between where they are both in the same committee and they are doing work. For example, House Business Committee. You find that if the majority leader is not there, the minority leader will read the report. Or in the Select Committee, the majority leader is the chair, the minority leader is the co-chair. So if one is not there, the other can chair. But when it comes to work, which is for the party, what that means is assembly party work. If the majority leader is not there for assembly party work, then the deputy majority leader will do the assembly party work. That is the meaning of that. Thank you.
Understood, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Angela.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Angela Munyasia, specially elected by the Wiper Democratic Movement. I stand to support this report, which was very well presented by the Honorable Member, and the contents therein are well noted and articulated. First of all, Honorable Speaker, the report is very professionally presented to the House, and we do appreciate the input that has been done both by the members and the professional input by the legal brains in the presentation of the paper. Honorable Speaker, my main concern or appreciation is the fact that the women have been now given a slot through the Women Caucus that has been fought for over some time in this assembly, and I am sure that all the members in the assembly do appreciate that Machakos County is not now being asked to go and benchmark with other counties for them to know whether they are going to give the Women Caucus a slot, but others will have an opportunity of benchmarking with us. That is very honorable. On the other hand, Honorable Speaker, I would like to urge the Select Committee, as they are presenting the new committees that have been created, to consider more women in those slots, because the committees, most committees, or almost 90% of the committees in this House, Honorable Speaker, are headed by men, and we do not meet the 1/3 threshold in women representing committee headship. So, Honorable Speaker, I would like that to be considered so that we will have more women and that the men are not going to be more lonely heading committees on their own, that we can have some sopranos in the headship of committees. Honorable Speaker, I know the House will adapt this report, and I am sure going forward, the third assembly will appreciate what this assembly has done to ensure that there are more committees created and that the House business will move as stipulated without some committees being overloaded and others underloaded. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Mandate Mwani.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Bendeta Mweni Musyoka. I support the report by saying that the report has done what is meant by devolution. I think that's why some people are here, because of the devolution. And our speaker has done well to make the committee have the caucus. We have been fighting for it, the caucus committee, since last regime. But up to this time, because of her, we have gone somewhere. So we thank the members, the men who have agreed for the caucus committee, and even our chair, who is able, who has been doing a lot of work. So I think by next year, when we will be having a new committees for caucus, the caucus will have a kid. This time is not having any. So we thank our chair, that is the speaker, for putting a lot of effort even writing the report and even making the women. We do meet with the women of the other counties, and they are not recognized anywhere in the assemblies. Even they don't get even the treats we go. So we have also to thank our men, even our, we have also to thank our chair of the assembly because of making the women be recognized. As Mheshimiwa Ndawa said, if you give 100 shillings to a woman and another one to a man, the man will not even reach at home with anything, but the woman will buy sugar, bread, and many other things, even the mboka. So we thank our chair, our assembly, for making effort to come to this end. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Peter Joseph Mutisa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mine is just I wanted to thank the committee because of the elaborate report they have come up with. Because as I have gone through this report, is the most good report that the members of that committee have come up with. And I think if they were considered during the time of BBI, they would have come with a good thing. That is what I've understood when I have gone through this. And I also say that, Mr. Speaker, I was just sometimes invited in that committee, and I didn't see my name, but I don't complain, because I think sometimes we have another committee which I thought it would have been considered, Committee of Social Welfare of Members, who the chair, I think the chair, she's inside here, Honorable Angela. And in that committee, being a member, sometimes you have problems, Mr. Speaker. And also, if with time, even if it is not now, if they will consider civic education, it would be better for us, because even members of the community, they don't understand the mandate of people whom they elect. Sometimes you could see the executive blaming the MCS, what the MCS give them budget and also work that's supposed to be done. So I think, Mr. Speaker, in time, or with time, or in future, if that one can be considered, it will be good. And also, I thank that committee because of considering the caucus committee, because that committee is very important. Sometimes they feel that they are neglected, but now they are somewhere. And I believe most of the counties, they will envy this, and they will also do the same. So they will follow the suit. That's very important, Mr. Speaker. And my word is, and I would like to be guided on this. I, being a member of Machakos Central Ward, I think I represent people from Machakos Ward. Sometimes there are some things which don't need public participation, because I'm here. And I've never heard, I think I stand to be collected, I've never heard of a national parliament coming up with such amendments, and then public participation is done. I've never heard of that. Maybe it has been done elsewhere, but I've never heard of that. So it would have been far, but because of maybe politics, that's where we are here now discussing this, because it has taken a lot of time. I think it was maybe 3 years down the line. So sometimes we need to be guided and told what is supposed to be done, and also the courts may have to consider some things before they do them. Although members are supposed to be heard if they take cases in the courts, but sometimes some things they have to ignore them. That is my feeling, Mr. Speaker, because as I've said before, we had been far, but because of those incitement, goes on our standing orders. That's where we are now, right now. Because as I've gone through this report, there were some members who were to respond on some issues, like Assembly Counter Attorney, the Law Society of Kenya, Young Professional MACHAKOS, and the National Churches Councils. But they have never raised their case through the memorandum that they were asked to come up with. So, Mr. Speaker, I thank this committee, and I really support this report. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Kamitu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Mine is just a concern that we have gone through a good report in regard to the standing orders amendments. But my big worry, Honorable Speaker, is that in the minority, and like now the current government that we have, where the minority really, in a sense that, what I'm saying, sorry, I'm trying to put something that I brought in a committee, that representation of the minority in regard to committee membership, that we don't have any member of the minority party being a chair of any committee because of the certain percentage. And we were saying, for the purpose of representation, Honorable Speaker, and especially in the liaison committee, we were requesting either the majority or the minority leader. This is for the smooth running of information to both parties, because now the current assembly, we have no member. We have no member of the minority, and I have not seen any amendment in these standing orders where the representation is fairly done. Because we are very much aware that in committees, when committees are formed, members are supposed to sit down.
Point of information.
Point of information from Honorable Mweni.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Bendeta Mweni Musyoka, nominated by Wiper. I want to inform the minority leader that this is a goodwill by the House, because he knows very well what it means by majority and what it means by minority. When we come to this House, there have to be politics, and it cannot do without that. Thank you.
Cosmas Masesi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Cosmas Masesi, Matungulu is the member to this county assembly. Mine, Mr. Speaker, is just to inform my big brother, Honorable Kamitu, that maybe we need to work on the relationship between both the majority and the minority. That one will automatically solve the issue of chairs in the liaison. Otherwise, we cannot do anything in terms of course, the majority will always be the majority. And the only way to come up with the chair is by vote by the members. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Kamitu. I think you can conclude we have had the sentiments, but just go ahead and conclude so that I can request the member to respond.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I'm getting the sentiments of the two honorable members whom I respect. And Honorable Speaker, you are very much aware that there is a certain percentage, everybody is aware, in regard to the membership of the committees in the Assembly. But my point of concern was, in fact, the current Assembly that we have, and it is good also members to understand, the current Assembly that we have, is that it is very well known that the governor, who is our county governor, is the head of is the chief executive of the county. But on the other way, politically, the majority do not come from the governing executive. And it is just a scenario of this assembly, the second assembly. What I'm trying to do for future references, it is very important. I'm not talking about the current political parties or political affiliation in regard to the majority and the minority in this house. But in future, for fairness, it is very important, and it is very important for this house to note that for future, if we are talking about fairness in regard to committee membership, it is very important, for example, for the minority to have about 3 chairs in the committees. That is exactly what I'm trying to put. Not even saying the second assembly as the wiper and the minority are the chap-chap. We are not for that. But I'm looking for future references that where fairness is supposed to be fared on the ground. That is my humble request. And for this matter, if I can give a practical example, normally when the majority are within the executive, are within the governing executive within the county, for example, the park committees belong to the minority. But in this case, everybody in this house understands exactly the current scenario, Honorable Speaker. So that is exactly what I was trying to bring a reference in future, what will happen. So for that fairness, that is my humble request, and I put these things in the committee for house procedures that they may consider. Because in the liaison committee, there is no representation of the minority when they are sitting for that. So we are left in suspense. We are left in abeyance. That is my concern, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable, can you respond to the motion, please? The mover of the motion, can you respond?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. First, I want to thank the honorable members for supporting this document. It's a very, very important document because it will take another bit of time before we come to change it again. I want to thank most of all Honorable Speaker, Madam Florence Mwangangi. She's our chair, and she's been doing a lot with this. I remember we started last year, and she would go with us to the venue, and she would arrive there before any of us. And then she would sit and wait. Then we all come late. There was jam. And then we came to realize, she said, stop talking about jam. Jam from where? You're supposed to be spending your nights here so that you can continue next morning, which was true, and we didn't know. But from that time, we all used to go there very early, sit, repeat. I remember some of the committees would have lunch and go home, but this committee would have lunch and go back to the office. And then we went on and went on until we came to this point. I want to say, for those who may have felt something was left out, like minority is feeling, there is always room. You can still talk to the business committee, and your issues will be listened and added on. And I want to say, this is not the last paper of this nature. At the next assembly, we will still have to amend. We keep on doing it, and doing it until you will even find there are very, very, very many things which are not here as they will come. And then we will have to accept what we have. Amendments are there every now and then. I also want to thank our chair also for remembering us as women. In most places, and more so in Africa, women do not matter much. But I can see here in Machakos, women have been given some responsibility. And I want to assure you, Chair, we shall take this responsibility with all our strength, with what we can, to make sure we perform what we are supposed to perform. So thank you very much, members, for supporting this document. It was a very well done document. And I now want to ask the responsible department to go with the speed. One of the honorable members has expressed concern that we have members who have no responsibility. Now, we have to get them from here, from this document. And so, may it be done as soon as possible. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Constance Bula, for that summary well done. I now put the question that this Honorable House discusses and approves the report of the Committee on Procedure and House Rules on proposed amendments to standing orders. As many as other opinions say ayes.
Ayes.
As many as the contrary opinions say nay, the ayes have it. Honorable members, now that we have passed the motion, one or two things before we adjourn. The first one, again, I congratulate the chair and the entire team, of which I'm a member of, for the report they have done. I've heard a few comments here about the creation of the Women Caucus and add of the use of the word fought. I think the correct word is negotiated. It was not fought for, it was negotiated through this House, and the negotiations went well between those who were the two sides which were negotiating, which led to the creation of the caucus committee. The other thing is what I talked about in terms of clear distinctions on guidelines on House leadership in as far as Assembly Party leaders are concerned. If you look at the standing orders we have amended, such that in the absence of the minority leader, there is a deputy minority leader who should be the one who is in charge, and there is no vagueness. In the absence of the majority leader, there is a deputy majority leader who is in charge, and there is no vagueness. We have seen in some instances where vagueness was coming in, the majority leader is not there, and then you can either see the whip or somebody else taking all those responsibilities. That's why it is important to create clear distinctions as to the hierarchy of leadership in that. On the issue of the majority leader talked about representation, I think it's an issue which has been well addressed by Honorable Cosmas Masesi. It's a unique situation we have in Machakos because ideally you're supposed to have the park committee. In most areas you'll find that if you don't have if there's a majority government there, then the government also has a majority in the House. And therefore, park goes to the minority to overlook the majority. But we get a case here whereby the majority in the House has a minority government outside there. And therefore, there is no way now again the government could be able to oversight itself. And the majority had to take over that responsibility. But being a house of negotiations, as you have had, look at Honorable Moffat Maida. He is a minority and he's a chair. Honorable Patrick Kituko is an independent candidate and he's a chair. So it all depends on negotiations in the House and how you agree with them and how the workings are done. And your proposal has been heard before the House, and I'm very sure that the House Rules and Procedure, when they sit next, they look at it, but also the suggestions which have been told here of negotiations. It's always negotiations. It's a house of negotiations. It's a house of always trying to negotiate and try and reach an amicable solution among ourselves. So we'll continue negotiating and continue doing the amendments as they come necessary. Honorable members, with that, the House is adjourned to resume on Tuesday, the 17th day of August, 2021 at 2:30 p.m.